Today's another installment in my ongoing series dedicated to the heavyweights that are making this one of the most exciting eras in boxing history. Regardless of what Tyson Fury says or believes, there are a number of athletes just waiting for the opportunity to beat him or AJ and for their own legacy. The individuals I'm showcasing today is an athlete that, well, timing wasn't right for me when I was asked to actually get in the ring and dance with him. I've regretted not taking that opportunity to see if my footwork matched up against his technical genius. But, okay. This is a fighter that has an amateur win over the great Cuban heavyweight, Orlando Solis. The Solis, with an amateur record of 227 wins and 14 losses. Winner of 3 World Championship games, 2 Pan American games, 1 questionable Olympic Games. And why is it questionable? Those were the 2004 games. He actually won the right to represent Cuba for the 2000 games by beating Felix Savon, the legendary Felix Savon. But because Felix Savon was a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, and this was going to be his 3rd, which they wanted to give him the opportunity to earn that 3rd, and he did when they gave him that spot. That easily could have been Orlando's games too. He could have been a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. But, okay. That Orlando Solis. My name is Bola Raymond Oluwole, and this is the scoop. The Bulgarian destroyer was born May 4th, 1981. That was born May 4th, 1981. Was none other than Kubrat Pulev. Where his love affair with combative arts began is a mystery, but what is known is that he really excelled in the amateur ranks. Winning gold medals in the Straja Cup, which is an international tournament that is held out of Bulgaria and is sometimes used as an Olympic qualifier. This is the oldest tournament in Europe and one of the most prestigious ones, to go with that. Now, in the decade of the 2000s, Kubrat won 4 gold medals there with 1 silver. Not bad, keeping in mind he didn't go to the 2009s or the 2010s. He turned pro in 2009. He also went on to win or amass gold medals in the European Championships and the European Union Championships, which are actually 2 separate international competitions in his amateur career. Pulev then turned professional September of 2009 and at the age of 28, and had his first 4 fights out of Germany. Now, he started off his professional campaign with nothing shy of a bang. He actually, in his third professional fight, he went up against a fellow countryman of mine, Benge Olu Okun. This was nothing shy of impressive. This was his third professional fight. Benge's record at that time was 17-2. He outdid me. In my third fight, I went up against Julius Long with a record of 13-5, which people thought I was insane for taking such a difficult fight on such short notice within my young career. 17-2, and he was victorious. In his fifth fight, he went up against Matt Skelton and stopped him in the fourth. Are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? This is the Matt Skelton who not only reigned supreme of the British Commonwealth for years, but also lost a close fight to Chigayev, Ruslan Chigayev. Not to be mistaken with any other Chigayev, I guess. In a war for his WBA strap. And he fought and beat him in his fifth fight. If you knew who Matt Skelton was, you'd recognize how exceptional that feat was in so early in your career. He was on the fast track to a world title for sure. Pulev in his 16th fight, goes up against my friend Alexander Dimitrenko. Now, Dimitrenko's record going into this fight was 32-1. And this is a 16th fight. More than double the experience. The fight starts out going Dimitrenko's way for the first 4 rounds, and then Pulev figures out how to outbox the far taller. Dimitrenko's 6'7", Pulev's 6'2", 6'3". Longer, stronger fighter. And he beat him from the outside via impeccable footwork. His footwork was so on point, and with it, he was able to start chipping away at Dimitrenko, winning the rest of the rounds until Pulev just wore him down, and the contest was stopped in the 11th round. That speaks volumes. That puts him in contention. Right there, just that fight alone, as my books, in contention to play with the big boys. He has an answer to beating the big boys. His very next fight, fight number 17, was against the ultimate specimen, Alexander Ustinov. Who is Alexander Ustinov? Well, standing at 6'8", but weighing over 300 pounds. He had a background in kickboxing, which proved essential for him for the most part because it gave him balanced footwork, which matched his powerful size. The most impressive component in his bag of tricks was his chin durability. No one had ever seen him so much as rocked at this point in his career. Now, this didn't prove successful for him or positive on the day against Pulev. Pulev floated in and out of range and stinging him and outpointing him until the 11th round, when again he too had to succumb to a serious ass bust that was being delivered. I couldn't have imagined that he would have beaten these two fighters in this manner if you had paid me to. Now, for Pulev's 18th fight, he's staring across the ring again against Tony the Tiger Thompson. Tony was just off a double win via stoppage of David Price, Pricey Boy, and had contested for the world title twice against Vladimir Klitschko unsuccessfully. Known for his power and being a southpaw made him much more difficult a fighter than the layman. Pulev gave Tony a boxing lesson. Like, no real damaging punches were landed on Pulev, but boy, in the whole contest, he was stinging him from the outside. And to this point, no one had actually shown a means to actually stop this assault. No one had an answer for his style. This contest goes the distance, but Pulev has now cemented his path to the world title dance with this victory. Now, in waiting for his world title dance with Vladimir, Pulev attempts to take some fights to stay sharp. But the word is out that Pulev is a fighter that needs to be avoided. Fight after fight was being dropped. The promoter's nightmare. Elijah McCall, the son of Oliver McCall, pulled out after agreeing to fight him and doing his homework, researching the tapes and seeing exactly what he's up against. Okay. So then he's replaced by American Joe Joel Donjuk, who was then replaced again by Ivica Perkovic. Now, by this point in time, the promoter was scraping at the bottom of the barrel. Ivica was not a challenge per se. And he got stopped in the third round. But finally, it's time to dance with Vladimir. But nothing ever is simple. You just witnessed all this, right? Vladimir wants a mega fight again against the newly crowned WBC champion, Romain Stavern. He wanted all the belts. Now that his brother had retired, relinquished the WBC title, Romain beat Chris Arreola for it, so he wanted that belt in his repertoire too. But the IBF had different plans. He had a mandatory fight against Pulev. And because it was mandatory, if he didn't take that fight, he would have been stripped of his title, of that title, just to go fight for another title. So, the fight was still on. Vladimir proved too talented for Pulev. And for the first time in his professional career, he wasn't just outboxed, but he was actually stopped. It was a one-side shellacking. Vladimir looked like Pulev 2.0. footwork was impeccable. His power was significantly superior to Pulev's. And there was nothing he could do. There was just nothing he could do. Post-fight, Pulev says that, yeah, Vladimir was a very good champion, but he was lucky today. I don't know what fight he was talking about because Vladimir displayed a pure ring generalship. He says that he thinks he deserves a rematch because there was going to be a different outcome. Yeah, he deserves it. It's not that he wants it or please give me a second chance. He deserves it. He got shellacked for 5 rounds. Now, Pulev continues on with his career, amassing more notable wins over the likes of like Derek Chisora, Samuel Peters, Kevin Johnson, even Huey Fury, you know. And these wins gave the public the opportunity to fall in love with him again, only to get him to have to face off against Anthony Joshua. So, December 12th, 2020, they meet in the squared circle. This again was not meant to be Pulev's night. He was knocked down in the 3rd round. He was knocked down in the 9th round, and then eventually counted out. There was some bad blood between those two. Yeah, it was comical to see, but Pulev genuinely felt that he, going into this fight, was the superior fighter. And he may have superior boxing skills, but he could not overcome the power, the brawn, the size and the speed of Joshua. And he's not having it. Oh well. Now, with that being said, do I think that he is still in the running to actually maybe dethrone Tyson Fury? Quite possibly. I'd like to see if Tyson Fury, because Tyson Fury does not have the power of Joshua. He's a boxer, sure. He may be able to outbox him, but he doesn't have that power. He doesn't have the power of Vladimir Klitschko. So if he doesn't have that deterrent, what is to keep Pulev away from him doing what he wants to do? I don't know. I think that this is, again, another integral component as to what is making boxing so amazing right now. Mr. Pulev, do your thing. And that is my show. So with that, if you enjoyed this show, please hit the like button and subscribe. And don't forget the notification bell. It's your boy Bola, and that's the scoop.